How's it going, everyone? I hope everyone's having a great day, and I thank you for stopping by and checking out my channel. Today we're going to continue working on my 97 Dodge Ram like we've been working for the past several videos now. We've had a lot of bad weather up here in where I'm living in the Midwest, and we've got a lot of snow, and there was a bad snowstorm recently, and my 4x4 doesn't work, and I'm thinking that it's my 4x4 vacuum actuator. I'm not going to replace it with another vacuum actuator. That doesn't really make sense, especially on diesels, because diesels don't really make much of a vacuum anyways. And you know, the lines are probably cracked and brittle and broken, so I'm going to replace it with a mechanical actuated system that I'm going to use basically a Posi-Lok. It's not going to be quite a Posi-Lok. It's a different brand, but it's essentially the same thing. So let me go ahead and show you what I'm talking about. All right, so for my Posi-Lok system that I'm talking about, that I'm deciding on doing, it's actually, I think the design is called a Werner cable. I'm not 100% certain on that, but I decided to go with like an Alloy USA differential cable lock kit. I think I got this on Amazon. It's got a 3-year warranty, so I thought it was pretty good, and it pretty much just comes with like everything included. If you're planning on doing this on your vehicle too, I think this works for Jeep Wrangler, and I think it also can work. It's very similar to Jeep Wrangler, Jeep Cherokee, Dodge Ram 1500, 2500, I think even a 3500. Some of the tools that you're going to probably be needing, I'm using an adjustable wrench because there's a big nut that's going on the back of this cable here that holds it. I need new little clips that hold my fork in, because I think I'm actually missing a clip, so I need to get a new one. We're gonna need some various sizes of socket. I'm using a step bit because we needed an 11/16 inch hole, and yeah, finding a drill bit that size, which I don't have, but it can be kind of expensive. So I was like, yeah, let's just do a step bit. And then I just got a socket wrench right here. And then you're also going to need to cut a little bit of insulation / foam backing off of the side of the firewall inside your vehicle. So just use the knife to kind of cut that out, and that's basically going to be right next to the accelerator pedal. So let me just get in here really quick and I'll show you. So as you can kind of see, there's a little bit of insulation that I had cut out right there. The kit comes with a stencil for you to sort of cut out this little section that's basically right next to your accelerator pedal, which is right there, and you're gonna drill a hole back in there through the firewall, and that's where the cable is going to slip through. We're also going to be needing a drill and drill bits, because we're going to be needing to drill a hole in through the front of the dash, basically up in here. There's a little bolt that I already took out. Actually, I don't even think it was in my vehicle, because the previous owner has this brake controller right here with all this stupid wiring. But we're gonna have to drill a hole straight in through here, and then we're gonna have to put in a nut and bolt that goes back in here. Yeah, that should pretty much be it. So we're just gonna go ahead and jump right into it. Okay, so you need to drill about a 5/16 inch hole, which I just used the step drill bit to drill that too. Basically, this kit comes with a nut and bolt that you're going to go ahead and use to secure the bracket. And the bracket, it's going to kind of look like that, and it's going to be mounted underneath the dashboard somewhat like this, and then the nut and bolt goes through there, and you secure it through the back like that. So we're going to go ahead, and the next part in this is to drill the hole through the firewall. It says that you want it an inch in from the pedal, from the accelerator pedal, and 6.5 inches down. So in my kit, it basically gives you a stencil right here. So you would just kind of cut this out, and then you would hold the flat line on top of the accelerator pedal in the back there. Now in the instructions, it doesn't really make sense, because it just sort of says you need to kind of be close towards the accelerator pedal, except that, like, if you were to go further in towards the driver's side, you're going to be hitting a lot of additional plate that helps secure the brake pedal to the back of the firewall. You can go closer in towards the passenger side and you'll be completely okay, which is what I'm going to do. I'm actually just going to try to eyeball it and see if I can kind of make it in there okay. And we're going to try to route the cable through, and then we're going to go underneath the vehicle and try to install the next part. All right guys, I drilled the 11/16 inch hole with my impact gun. I'm not sponsored by any of these companies, but yeah, so up in there, basically by the firewall, up in there you have to drill an 11/16 inch hole, which is right next to your pedal, and then you have to drill your 5/16 inch hole right there to put in your nut to hold in the bracket, the bolt and nut that hold in your bracket, which is right here on your Posi-Lok system when you get it. So it's just going to slide in through right here, and then it's going to kind of go up in there, and you're going to secure it to your dash. Now I already put on the grommet onto my cable, because I'm going to now route my cable, and that's going to come down through the back of the firewall and go down into my axle. So I'm going to try to slip this grommet up onto the back of the firewall, and you really want to put this on here because I think the warranty gets voided if you don't put the grommet on, because it's just gonna, the hard metal is just gonna basically eat away at this hard plastic, and it's just gonna completely ruin the cable. And we're gonna mess around with this housing right here that goes on the back of your front axle, and I'll go ahead and show you that in a second. Once I'm done with this, I'll show you what it looks like. All right everyone, I've mounted the bracket and I got basically the whole cable routed. So you can kind of see I routed the whole cable up and through, and then I got the grommet on the hole. There's a hole right to the left of the main hole that I drilled because I wasn't exactly sure if I was in the perfect spot, but once I drilled a little bit through and I tested it, I saw, oh, okay, it's not too bad. There's actually a splash guard up on the firewall in the back there anyways, so I drilled that hole and that's perfectly routed through. So now we're just going to move on to this plate right here, and we're going to go ahead and remove some of our vacuum lines and plug that up and plug it up on the transfer case, and we should be pretty much good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and get down and working on the bottom side now. Okay guys, so I've routed the cable completely down underneath the vehicle right through there, so it's kind of just like coming in through the firewall, and I brought it down through here, and the cable's running up through the firewall right there and down right here, and it's gonna go right into my front axle right there. I got all the bolts off. They were what worked for me was a 7/16 socket, and I replaced mine because mine looked pretty rusted and pretty corroded and crappy, so I just replaced them with some new ones from my local Ace Hardware. And now I need to fix this. So this is my front fork on my center axle disconnect underneath the vehicle, and I'm missing a pad right here, so I bought a couple new pads. They're like $2. I'm gonna see if they work, and we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna take this apart. You're gonna need to harvest this is the breather tube on it, and then we're not gonna really need this anymore or this anymore. So I put a little catch can underneath there because I don't want to drip all over the parking lot right here. And yeah, and then we're gonna basically manually actuate between 2-wheel and 4-wheel like this. It's just gonna kind of slide in like that manually. And yeah, so now I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna go ahead and disassemble this, and I'm gonna go ahead and show you what we need to do next. Alright everyone, so I've gotten the thing completely disassembled. It took me a good amount of time to remove this freaking thing. So looking at this, this is basically what we're removing from the housing. So this is like the little switch that basically lets your truck know that you're in 4x4. Okay, we got enough light. I'm running out of light because started a little bit later in the day, but this is like a little button. It basically kind of pushes down and then sends a signal to your dash that let you know that you're in 4x4. And then this is the vacuum actuated pump. We needed to remove 3 clips, which are all right here. Let me see, 1 second. Yeah, they're all right here. I just needed to you need to pull those out. They were kind of a pain. I used Harbor Freight's beautiful picks. And then I just ended up having to use like a big nice screwdriver right here to remove it out of the housing here. And then I removed the little breather, basically a nipple right here that the vacuum, or rather the axle vent basically exits here, and the hose basically plugs into this. So I used a, let's see here, I used a half inch socket, and it just came right out. So I'm gonna clean up all these parts, and then we're gonna transfer everything onto here. All the hardware is included with this, so we should be able to just sort of take this fork here. I'm gonna put the pad on and see if it works. I think it will. We can remove that, and then we're just going to put the fork in there with the new provided hardware, and it's going to be in reverse. So instead of the vacuum going on this side, this is where that part would kind of go into, we're now switching it to like this, so that the line is going to go in there like that, and then your dash will know that you have 4x4 by going in there, because there's a new switch basically going on up in there. So all right, I'm gonna go ahead and pop on this new clip, and then hit all of these parts with brake clean, and then we're gonna assemble it before it gets a little too late. Okay everyone, it's been some time since my last recording, unfortunately. The weather up here has been super brutal. I mean, even Texas is getting hit. It's been pretty bad. So I've needed to take some break from being outside so often, just because it's been so cold. But I finished the Posi-Lok, and I wanted to show you guys kind of the end product. This is the backing plate that goes on the back of the axle that will be the end product. So here's my cable. It's just running all the way up, and then up where the firewall was, as you saw in the previous part, you have your electronics that hook onto this section right here. This is kind of unfortunate because I just finished this installation maybe but 2 weeks ago or so, and that was around the last time of my my recording was, and I already noticed that the electrical connections have already sort of made their way off of this section here on the backing plate. But I can easily fix this with just some spade connectors and then some heat shrink, and just clip that on there. It does not matter the orientation on which one of these tangs that this connection actually clips onto. It just needs to be on there to let your dash know. So when I finished installing this thing, I threaded it in through the side here. I left it, so I did a dry fit testing, so I threaded it in a little bit. I tightened this down a little bit snugly. I went down as far back as I possibly could, got it in there, and then that fork that you saw me do or take out, I had to put the pad on. That was successful. That worked out just fine. I broke one of them, but I had two, because you always, should have, multiple things, because in case something breaks. And then what I did was I slid the cable through. I put the fork on, so I slid the cable through the fork. I put the 3 clips. It comes with clips. So my alloy kit from Amazon came with clips, and that basically secured onto the little shaft that comes on this and goes through here. So that worked out perfectly fine. And then I took the breather nipple that you unbolt, and I bolted it in here. It was a tight fit to kind of bolt on, but that was perfectly fine. It comes with a cork gasket. I put the cork gasket on. You saw that shift collar in my axle. I put the fork on there as best as possible. I put it in 4-wheel drive. I also took the Posi-Lok system, or the alloy, whatever you want to call it, put it in 4x4, just so that I can kind of get a rough estimate that yes, it should be in 4x4, that should be pushed over and everything should be fine. So I did that, and then yeah, what I did was I bolted everything down with the cork gasket. I made it a dry fit. I made sure that the fork was engaged with the shift collar on the center axle, and yeah, it was pretty spot on from there. You can do fine tuning by twisting the knob a little bit, and you also just you push in the button and you pull it out, and it works great. It's been really great. I really needed it for the past like couple weeks left of winter that we had, and it worked great. It's just kind of unfortunate that this already just came disconnected, so that's a bummer. And another thing, I'm noticing that's not looking too good. It looks a little greasy down there, and it looks like my axle seal might be leaking, which is really unfortunate because I just did this in the summer. But maybe this will be another instance for another video. I already did it once, so I don't mind. I can do it again, I guess. It's kind of unfortunate. So yeah, let me go look at let me go and show you the rest of the finished product inside the cab. Okay everyone, so the finished product inside the cab, it should kind of be like this. Don't mind my mask. You should have it mounted up right there. It should be right next to your accelerator pedal right there, and then you just have like your regular 4x4 arm for your actual transfer case. So I put this into 4x4, and then I engage this. Sometimes you need to roll. I've noticed for me, and some other people have said the same thing, that you need to roll in order to get this thing started. So what you do is you simply push in the button here and you pull this thing all the way out. That's worked just fine. For some reason, some people are saying that you need to roll. For me personally, it's worked best when I've actually just parked. Sometimes I need to roll, sometimes I don't. And then right up in there is where I have it mounted all the way up by the firewall, and it worked out great, and you guys saw that in the previous video. So yeah, this is pretty much the end product. It's worked out really well. So we have one more thing that we're going to work on this vehicle. Actually, a couple more things I wanted to show you, but my passenger window is really janky, so let's go ahead and fix that. Alright everyone, we're on the passenger side of my vehicle now, and the window is really not working well. So I'll move it down, and there's a funny whole story with this whole window, but I moved it down. Here's the top part of my window, and like the whole thing just sort of kind of comes out of the track, and it's really bad. And then even when I move it up, it kind of gets caught on the side here sometimes, moving up. Luckily it went up just fine, but it's really bad, and it shouldn't be like that, because one time I was actually driving down the road, and the track that holds the window in, unfortunately, it came off of the window and hit the bottom of the glass, and the whole glass shattered. And I was driving down the road, and it was really unfortunate, where to the point I had to tape the whole entire thing up and make my own fake window. It looked so bad for so long, and then the whole thing actually got sucked out of my window onto a side street. Luckily nobody was behind me, but it was really bad. So I'm going to, and you can actually still see the tape from when I did this last. That was so bad. Anyway, that was months ago. That was probably like last year. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and fix this, because the only thing that that's pretty much broken in here is actually the actuator, not the motor itself, because the motor itself works just fine. I don't want to break this window after I just replaced it, so we're going to go ahead and fix the actuator. Alright everyone, my panel has been removed. It's just a few clips, and there's actually 3 Phillips head screws. There's one there, and then there should be 2 in the little coin holder inside the door. I have a bunch of other stuff in here too, but they go, let me show you really quick. One goes up here, so one's kind of just like screwed into right there like that, and then there should be 2 kind of right here. There's one right there and one right there. Once you get that removed, there's a bunch of little clips that actually hold the door on. There's a bunch all the way at the top right here, and then there's some on the side of the door, and then there's also some at the bottom side of the door. And then your vapor barrier should be right here, and we want to get up in there. And then we're going to remove these window sweeps right here. We can just go ahead and pull these off like this. Go ahead and pull this side off like this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to pull back my wonderful tape, and I need to probably put some more on at some point. I'm going to pull this back. I'm just going to probably duct tape this back shut. We're going to open this a good ways, and we want to get up in there. We're going to lower the window down all of the way, and I'm going to show you once I get the window lowered down all the way what we're going to do next. Okay, I removed those bolts. There's basically two long ones, and then the rest are going to be kind of short. There was one up here, one behind the door handle, there was one down there, there was one right here. I removed two screws. The way I was able to get my window out after removing those two bolts that are on the track, as you see I'm kind of wiggling it out already, which here's the track. Mine just completely comes off, and then the window just smacks on this thing and then breaks. So I'm not gonna have to, I don't want to go through that again. And the way I was able to get my window out is that there's this little bar right here that helps secure your window and keeping it in line with this like felt. And there's two bolts. There's one that's going to go right here, and then there's another one that's going to go right there. This allows this to kind of swing, so I was able to kind of push this out of the way, push the window back, and actually just rotate the whole window up and out, and that was the best way for me to get the window out. So I'm going to go ahead and finish getting the rest of this off. I literally removed all of those bolts that I've kind of mentioned right here. There's the two that were up here right in this section, and then the rest right there, and I'm gonna sneak it out of this little section, and we're gonna install the new one. I have the new one right here, and this is from just a junkyard where I was able to find that there was the two little balls on the track right there. This should help a whole lot better, and we should be able to actually have a functioning window for the summertime, which would be great. So all right, I'm gonna get back to you once I take the old one out and I'm ready to install the new one. Okay, I went ahead and removed my old one. It looks so much better than the new one that I'm replacing it with, because this one kind of sat in the back of my bed of my truck for like a good solid couple months, unfortunately. So I moved the motor over from the old one, which gets mounted right there, and it basically holds on to the teeth of this one right here. There's all that teeth, and then it basically moves around like this and ratchets in here. And this one, you can kind of see there's a gear in here that clicks onto each of the teeth, which essentially scissors up your window up and down. And the best way for me to tell you if you're doing this all by yourself and how I did this is it gets a little sketchy. So this top bar right here is actually going to swing around super quick, because there's this whole spring right here that's actually holding the whole mechanism up, that makes it go up and down. This provides the tension. This motor is what actuates it up and down. And what I was able to do is move this all around, squeeze it with my hand, flip it onto the back side really quick, and quickly just to start a bolt. Once I got a bolt in, I just used my impact. You can use your fingers too. It's not too difficult. If it's really hard to do that, then make sure you get a wrench and you just wrench it on super quick. And then once that's in and the gear is locked in, you don't have to hold it anymore, and it's good. So we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna get to installing this thing inside the door now, and we'll be putting the window in, and it should be good to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this into the truck, and we'll catch you in just a second. Okay everyone, I've reinstalled it and it went really smooth. It was great. I started all the bolts exactly. It was the same as removal. It was just a reverse process. So I started with these two bolts kind of up here to help hold the whole thing in place, and then I swung it around a little bit, and then I started with some of the bolts right here, and I was able to get it started. And I'm not 100% certain on the torque specs. I think they just need to be really snug and firm, but not too tight, because this is really thin sheet metal. I put back the bolts that were right here. There's some longer bolts and then shorter bolts. It's just really important that the longer bolts don't actually get secured to anything that's going to come in contact with the glass that's right here. But everything works great. I'm super stoked. So now that the window goes all the way up and goes all the way down without having to worry about it coming off the track and then falling onto the metal basically right there and cracking it all in there. You can see that I still actually had glass in the door. That was such a pain in the butt. So anyway, now that we're completed, I'm gonna go ahead and secure the vapor barrier with just some duct tape all along the seams so I don't get any vapor inside the cab. And yeah, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up really quick. yeah, it's all completely installed, so I'm really stoked. Alright guys, that's going to be a wrap for today's video. I hope you guys learned something. Now that the weather's been getting a lot nicer out here lately, I'm able to kind of go outside. Everything is done outside. I don't have a garage and I don't have a shop. That would be awesome, but maybe one day. So yeah, with all that being said, I really appreciate all the love and support that you guys can give me. Don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe and comment down below if you learned anything or if you have any questions or concerns. Feel free to leave it down below. And with all that being said, that's going to be an end for today's video. So we'll see you in the next one.